at least once a month, I sit here and I tell Kyle the breaking news of an upcoming sequel, remake, reboot, and just watch the fantasy and life in his world slowly diminish over time.
Slowly drain into the sewer of hope.
Well, today I actually have the antithesis to this news. A proposed sequel, multi-decade removed sequel, that has been canceled. Beetlejuice's sequel has been shelved, and Tim Burton doubts it'll actually ever happen. As reported by USA Today, Warner Brothers is reportedly, well, that's kind of repetitive, reportedly no longer developing Beetlejuice 2, with the studio spokeswoman telling the site the project isn't in active development. When Burton himself was asked what's going on with the sequel, he replied, nothing, I don't know, I doubt it will happen. The bottom line is, Tim Burton and Michael Keaton are not going to think about a Beetlejuice sequel unless it somehow catches the energy of the first film, Larry Wilson, one of the 1988 movie's writers, told the site. And in terms of Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, which was a proposed sequel, FY, wiser heads prevailed. Thank God there's a level of integrity here.
Integrity and Beetlejuice. It's showtime. Anyways, no, listen, like, you know what I really think this is? I really think this wasn't ever going to happen. This story came out just more to kind of put Dumbo on the map, rather without actually talking about the Dumbo live action remake.
Yes, this story was just brought up just because of the fact that it's Michael Keaton and Tim Burton reuniting for the first time since Batman Returns.
And it's Danny DeVito.
It's Danny DeVito playing yet another ringmaster in a Tim Burton movie. I think he's getting typecast very, very strangely.
I think that's okay.
He was great in Big Fish. There are parts of him in Big Fish I wish I hadn't seen, but he was great in it.
Is that kind of like Kathy Bates in Forget Schmidt?
About Schmidt, but I wish I forgot.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I was asked recently in the comment section on YouTube how I feel about belated sequels to older properties. And Beetlejuice has a very, very distinct style and special effects work that were very indicative of the late 1980s. Doing a sequel in today's style would clash tremendously with that original film. Especially Tim Burton, as of late, I hate to say this, he kind of has an over-reliance on CGI. And that approach would clash instantaneously with the stop-motion world that was created with Beetlejuice.
Is it possible that the technology is too good for Beetlejuice to actually work right? I think in this case, it's kind of the technology is too good to really sell those moments the same way.
I mean, that could be an entire episode discussion.
But it changes the aesthetic, and I think it kind of goes away from the original Beetlejuice feel we know and love. That's what I'm saying.
The stop motion, for me, the difference between stop motion and CGI, although CGI, I mean, when it's used properly, it can be used tremendously well. The best use of CGI is when you don't realize that any of it is on screen. Stop motion, yes, you're aware that it is an effect. There isn't an effect in Beetlejuice where I'm not aware it's an effect, but it has a tangible quality. It exists in the real world, therefore it's easier for me to buy it existing in the film. The thing with Tim Burton is that he has it goes back to the word I said earlier, over-reliance on CGI, in that the way that he employs it in a lot of his films, it tends to lean a little bit more on the cartoony side. Think Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I never once believed that they were in the Chocolate Factory. I thought that they were in a cartoon the whole time. It was
a butt ton of green screens.
When most of the chocolate isn't real, what the hell are you doing? However, and this is the caveat I'm going to put on this, Tim Burton is a very visual director. Mm-hmm. So I do have a little bit, perhaps maybe it's misplaced, but I have a little bit of faith that he would actually go back and try to do it the same way and keep it visually connected. And I think some use of stop motion would have happened regardless. But the question is, how far would he take it? They have no doubt that Michael Keaton would still kick ass in the role.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think that's a question. I mean, there is an element of the Murtaugh rule being in effect here, but I think he would find it invigorating. Not that I know anything about the guy, but it sounds like something that, it's up there with Harrison Ford, basically always down to being Indiana Jones, that kind of thing.
But here's the thing. I think the biggest issue with the sequel, regardless of the effects, regardless of the actors and so forth, really would come down to the script. When I see that, Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian was a script that was floating around for long decades now. And it instantly tells me the vital mistake that the sequel would have made. And it would have been to focus, surprisingly, on Beetlejuice. You have to remember, in that first film, he's in it for what, 17 minutes?
He's a side character, no question.
He's a side character. And when he pops up, he's the highlight of the film. But
then with that in mind, who is your new, for example, Catherine O'Hara? Who's your new Winona Ryder? Who's your new Gina Davis? Who's your new Alec Baldwin? Where do you get these people?
Well, the funny thing is that Winona Ryder even expressed interest in returning if it were to happen. So you would still see.
Okay, that makes sense.
You still see. It probably would have focused more on Lydia and Beetlejuice together, not romantically or anything, but I think it would have been more like the if you remember the old animated cartoon show, which is fine for half an hour, but watching 2 hours of Beetlejuice on screen, I think that character is overpowering. There's a reason why people are shocked when they find out he was in that film for 17 minutes. It's because he is that overpowering. They think he's in the whole damn thing. You see what I'm saying? I
really do. And then, so 2 hours of that is like what happens when, you drink 5/5 of the alcohol of your choice.
And when you have a character like that, it's very important to use him sparingly. And I hate to make this comparison, but think Silence of the Lambs. Anthony Hopkins isn't in much of Silence of the Lambs either. Or
think what should still be Jack Sparrow rather than trying to make a whole movie about him.
Oh yeah, Jack Sparrow is very much the side character in that first film. And it's one of the reasons why it works.
Yes.
I don't know. I think the first film is fine as it is. I think that the time for a sequel is long gone. And to be honest, I think this is a property that's probably benefited from being a one-off.
I agree.
So, what do you guys think? Would you guys like to see a Beetlejuice sequel?
If you do, go away. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, let us know in the comments below. And tune in here every day where life is hilarious by default.